Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to Common Sense and Logic again.
Welcome back. I'm Caesar.
I'm Ronnie. You guys should know us by now. Thank you very much for tuning in and watching our videos.
Thank you guys for checking out the videos.
Yep.
Keep that feedback coming, man. We want to hear from you guys.
That's right. What's up, man? How was the weekend?
All right. It's a hot one, man. It's been hot these past 3, 4, 5 days, man. And it's
California, baby. Can't go wrong with that.
But you can't beat it, man, you know?
Yeah. You know,
gotta love it.
I'm embracing it. I love it, man. Yeah. You know, because when the rain comes and the coldness, I hear people complaining right now about the heat. Then when it gets cold, they complain about the cold. So
right.
You can never make anybody happy, I guess.
Take it as it comes, man.
We're spoiled here.
Enjoy it.
So what you got going, man? What do you think we should talk about? I was thinking maybe transgender.
Yeah, that's a good topic right there, man. That's a good topic.
It is a good topic, man.
There's a lot of little things we could talk about with transgender for sure.
Hopefully we could do it in a couple of minutes. It won't take too long.
Yeah, we'll try to keep it short. You know, we'll touch on the main points.
There's a lot to diagnose on this topic here, but we're gonna try to give you guys the main points to, you know, just to line it up to common sense and logic. Once again, this platform is not to be wrong and right, political. It's turning out that way because there's a lot of talk, right, about that stuff on the radio and the TV and social media and all that. But we're trying to keep it with just open to any topic.
Yeah, it could be anything. Anything that you're going to use your common sense and logic, you know, discussing the topic for sure.
Yeah. So what do you think about transgender?
I personally don't agree with it, but I don't have a problem with people being transgender. That's their life. That's whatever. But
let me rephrase the question. Yeah. What do you think that it exists the way they say it does? Because people are claiming to be that, kind of like insinuating that they were born that way.
Right.
So I guess that's where we could start off from.
Yeah.
Are people born that way, or?
That's hard for me to answer because unless I was born that way, I wouldn't know what's in their head. I mean, I don't think so. I mean, if you know, if somebody told me, you know, yes or no, I would have to say no. I think it just happens the way you're raised and what's put in your head, and I think that's how it becomes that way. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to say.
Yeah, well, for me, it's easy to say that you're not born that way because it's obvious, for one.
Yeah.
When babies are born, they're either female or male. They have a pee-pee or they have the other.
Right.
So you can't fight that, man. You can't dispute that in any way. That's the way God made us.
The physical part you're talking
about. That's the way God made them, made us from the beginning. And if you want to, you know, believe in that God makes us, or nature, however you want to spin it, that's how we're born. You know what I mean? That male and female, those are the only two. So anything else in between, it's got to be made up in my eyes.
Okay.
So, they could, you know, these transgender people, they could say that it's in their DNA.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know too much about that. I'm not a doctor.
That's why I didn't want to. Yeah, I don't know the chromosomes or XY, whatever. I don't know too much about that, but I know what you're saying.
Right. So, but again, this is to use our common sense and logic, right?
Yeah.
And looking at the obvious, you don't have to be a doctor. Like I said, once you're born, you're either a male or female, and it's been that way since, you know, Adam and Eve, which were the first two people on earth. Right? God didn't make, you know, 4. He made 2, male and female, and it all came about that. You guys believe in other stuff? Bring it to the table. We'll diagnose that and see if your common sense and logic makes any sense about that.
Yeah. So yeah, from the physical standpoint, the common sense says no from transgender. You know, you're not born that way because, you know, male penis, female vagina.
Yeah. And, you know, for those people that think that, or they say that they were born that way, because there's questions, right? Like, oh, I felt like this since I was 5 years old, or
now 4. We're going to mental, not physical.
The mental state, I think, because again, right, they're not born that way, so there's got to be a point where they felt that way, and for what I've seen on social media and news and all that, there's people claiming that they felt this way in their early years,
Yeah.
as far as 4,
When they're
5
kids.
years old,
Right.
right?
Where they felt like they should be the other gender.
Right. So that's one, and then you got the other folks that they're already in adulthood,
Right.
and they're coming out saying, "Well, hey, you know, I'm a male, but I'm not really a male. I'm a female."
Kind of like Bruce Jenner, you're talking about.
Yeah.
What's
And-
his a female name? Caitlyn Jenner, right?
Caitlyn Jenner, yeah. And so we'll set those aside for now. So we'll stick to the babies right now.
Okay.
To the toddlers or the 4-year-old,
the younger stage.
the younger stage. I think that that's possible.
Right.
That you could flip them to be that, because again, they're not born that way, and you can't tell me that they were born a male, but they felt like being a little girl. How is that possible? How do you know? How would you understand that? And how would you believe a little person telling you that?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because at that age, they think they're superheroes too, right?
Yeah, they think they're invisible,
Yes.
superheroes, stuff like that.
So we go with that logic.
So you can't take them for what they're feeling or thinking, because
because
they think the outrageous, you know.
Right. They think they're, you know, one thing one day and another thing the next day, depending on what you're playing with. That's what they're going to claim to be.
Right.
So that aspect for me, it's not credible either.
Yeah.
It's very questionable.
Yeah.
Because again, you know, their little feelings, their imagination, their brain is growing, right? They have a lot
it's
in there.
developing for sure.
It's developing, and so I don't believe in that. The only way possible that could come to would be the parents doing.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That
they encourage that since they were little. So if a little boy comes and says, "Hey, you know, I'm a little girl, I want to wear, you know, little dresses or heels and stuff like that." If you encourage that, if you're one of those parents that say, you know, just let them be, there's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
You're encouraging them, and in their head, they're thinking it's right.
It's okay, and they're molding them into that type of person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way. I mean, my nephews used to do that. I think that all kids do that when they're small. They're like 2 or 3 years old. You know, their imagination, right? They're trying everything around the house.
Yeah.
So I see my nephews, you know, playing around with, you know, in their heels. Then when they hear this, they probably won't like it. But, you know, they did that. But real quick, we would tell them, "Hey, that's for girls.
Yeah.
Don't do that. That's for girls. You know, put on these boots or sneakers or whatnot."
Yeah.
The same way they would pick up a doll, and you know, you have to let them know that's for girls.
Yeah, because they don't know right and wrong at that time. They're too young to understand.
Yeah.
They're just going off of what they see and what they're liking. But
well, especially if they have siblings too, right?
Yeah.
You know, they got little sisters and they're playing, and especially if they're outnumbered, right? Let's just say that you got a family where they have 2 little girls and 1 little boy, and the 2 little girls are playing with dolls and all that. Then the little boy, he's gonna want to play. He's gonna grab a doll and tea time and all that.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever, right? But the wrongdoing, I think, is when the parents, you know, like let's say if I was there and I try to correct them, like, "Hey, you know, don't play with the dog, play with this Tonka truck."
Mm-hmm.
And no, don't tell them that. Leave them alone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that I think that's where you're doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, you got to show your kid. Well, I was gonna word it right and wrong, but that we might get in trouble.
No, that's fine. This is why we're here, man. You know, no filter, baby.
You gotta teach your kids what's right and wrong according to normal standards. I guess, you know, what's right. You know, it's right to, you know, if you're a boy, to play with the Tonka toy trucks, little
GI Joes, whatnot. You know,
little Hot Wheels, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's wrong for them to play with dolls. Right and wrong, whether you like it or not. I mean, you know, for a normal person, that is right and wrong.
Right.
So it's up to the parent to teach them that. If they're gonna encourage them to, and they're gonna stay away and encourage them to go with their feelings, then you know, that's where it gets out of control.
That's where I think the seeds planted, where you guys allow the kids to, you know, play the opposite or with opposite toys, sex toys, and not those kind of toys. Not those kind of toys. Female toys, right?
Dolls
If you guys back away from it and you play that role like, "Oh, it's okay, they're only kids," well, you're planting something in them and it's going to develop.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, they're going to come back to that. And then what are you going to do then? What are you going to do when they're, 10, 12, 14 years old?
Yeah.
It's going to be harder, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's what's happening now when you got this young teenagers coming out saying, hey, I'm a girl, but guess what? I'm a boy. Well, I think that reversing the play, that little girl was playing with a lot of boy toys, so
You allowed it.
Yeah, you allowed it, and
to happen, and they ran with it.
They ran with it.
They went with those feelings or whatever when you could have nipped it in the bud by saying what's right and wrong.
Yeah,
as far as we know,
And besides, we have a lot of parents too that have come out and say, "Hey, you know what? My kid's playing with dolls, and it's okay. It's fine by me. There's nothing wrong with it, and all that." So there it is. That's exactly what we're talking about. You encourage that. You allow it. You're totally okay with it when you should be correcting that. So again, once they develop their mind and they claim it to be something that they're not, then that's on you.
As long as you corrected them from the get go.
From the get go, yeah.
You correct them from the get go, and then later on, in their teenagers or whatever, in the later years, they say they feel otherwise, and you did what you did. You know, you did what was supposed to.
Well, it's almost when you have your kids, right? I like little boys. You know what I mean? So if I had a little boy, I would encourage him to play baseball, football, right, basketball.
Mm-hmm.
He would always have that around him because I want to plant that in his head.
Yeah,
and that's how these sometimes stars are born. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You encourage the creativity, the artist or the athlete in them.
Yeah, you see these kids at a young age, man. They're playing almost pro.
Yeah,
the baseball, the little league. They
musician wise too.
All that, dude. Yeah,
they start young singing or with an instrument. Start them young.
So where did that come from? Yes, it's a given talent, but the parents have a lot to do with it.
Yeah, when they're young, they're like sponges. They absorb everything. So if you're teaching them the correct things, they're gonna absorb that. If you're letting them do what they want, that's gonna stick with them too, and they're gonna go with that route.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're allowing them to play a guitar, they're gonna absorb that. That's why when they start young, they could, in a few months, they're like pros already.
Yeah, I mean,
they're like sponges,
Yeah.
So that goes with any topic. If they're sponges with that, learning something like that, they're gonna sponge something. If you're allowing them to play with dolls, that's gonna sponge in their head. That's gonna be absorbed in their head, and they're gonna think they're girls.
Yeah. Wearing dresses, heels, and all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, their brain is developing at that young stage, and they're like sponges. They absorb everything. So if you allow that, that's what's going to happen. And maybe that's what's happening.
And nowadays, these parents, that's how they are. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, just allow them to do anything.
Yeah. Hands off.
Yeah, hands off. Say whatever you want. Do whatever you want. I mean, like, damn, dude. Like,
I mean, that's the problem we have, too, with disrespect of the youngsters nowadays, too, They have no respect for adults, no respect for anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, because parents are hands off. They don't want to touch. They don't want to discipline their kids, man. That's what it is,
That's what it is.
Growing up, man, we knew what the chancla was. And we didn't mess with that, man. Our parents, they taught us the right way. They discipline. Everybody needs discipline, man.
Yeah.
No matter how you put it, everybody needs discipline to go the right way.
Right. So then now we move to the other.
Well, I got something more to input. What do you think? Going back to the physical aspect in the youngsters, like I said, I'm not a doctor. I don't know what chromosome Y or chromosome Z, whatever X. I don't know any of that. But from what I've heard, is some kids are born with both genitalia.
Well, man, to that, like I told you before, you have to believe what they say, right? But who's to say that they're right or wrong? See, that's why I don't like listening to what they put out there, because they could tell you whatever they want, and only because they have that tag.
No, I know they could tell you what happened in the past, but physically, if you see from my understanding, there is babies that are born with a little penis and a vagina. So
I have never seen that. I have never heard of that. I've never even seen a picture of that.
Okay. So to research, I mean, I was going off of what scientifically they say has.
The only thing that comes to mind that was something similar to that was there were twins inside.
Okay.
So they kind of took part.
Yeah.
Uh, but again, there were twins. So I've seen those pictures where two babies are born with a head,
Yeah, yeah. I see
one
that.
head attached, right? Or
Yeah,
I mean,
Siamese or whatever.
the
Yeah.
two heads
Yeah.
attached to each other, something like that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I've never heard of it. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That would be
I've heard of
very
it, so
interesting.
it's something to research to see if, but scientifically speaking, I've heard it's out there. It has happened where kids are born with. They're called hermaphrodite. No, I forgot what the name is, but they have both penis and vagina.
Yeah. Well, again, if it's a doctor telling you that, then how are you going to dispute that, right? Yeah.
Right.
If you believe in the doctors,
But if you've seen it, if you're seeing
well, yeah,
it,
if you've seen it, then that's common
Yeah,
sense
that's
and
what I'm saying.
logic.
Yeah,
You
you're
cannot
seeing it.
deny it.
And I heard people, it's visible, like
Yeah.
it is something they're seeing. You're not just going off of what the doctor's saying and it's not there.
Right.
You actually see.
But like I said, I haven't seen a picture or anything, so
Yeah.
I can't.
I haven't
agree to
researched
it.
it myself.
Have you seen one? Have you just
I haven't
heard?
researched it because I haven't had no need to research.
Right.
Is it really a penis and a vagina?
Right.
But it's something to research. But yeah, scientific. I've heard it exists.
Okay. I mean, that's something to look into,
Yeah.
right? But again, if the doctors say, then that's questionable to me, especially with all the other lies that not too long ago have been given to us.
Yeah, if you're just going off of the word, you're saying not physically seeing it.
Yeah. So yeah, I would have to look into that just to see what's going on with that. But yeah, moving on to the adults, right?
Yeah.
That they claim that they were born male or female, and now they feel the opposite of what they were.
Right.
That's an easy one. That's just in your freaking head, man.
Yeah, that's already mentalish, like maybe because if it happened that at that late stage of your life,
Yeah.
that is something questionable,
Yeah, I mean, there's no way that you're gonna tell me that you were born a male and now you feel like you might feel like a female because that's what you want to feel like, right? I mean,
yeah, that's the lifestyle you want to live.
That's just a feeling, man.
That's the lifestyle, like it's the lifestyle you want to live, pretty much.
I mean, look, come on, man. Go look in it. Take a look at yourself in the mirror, and you're gonna see everything that a male needs to have, right? You know what I mean? You're gonna have, the scent of a woman. Yeah. It's different from a male,
right?
You could easily go by that, by the hair, and just a lot of obvious things that you could go by. And there's no way that you're gonna tell me that 15 years went by or 20 or 30 and now you're saying that you're not what you're born.
Yeah.
And so
yeah, that's strange. All that feelings when it comes to how you're feeling at adulthood,
Yeah. I mean, you see a lot of people nowadays saying that they feel like some of them don't even feel like a human being.
Right. Yeah. I identify as a alien.
Yeah, I identify as a cat.
Yeah,
I heard some say, you know what I mean? So
I identify as.
So what do you say to those people? Common sense and logic. What do you say to that? The people that claim that they're male, but now they feel like being a female, vice versa. If someone tells you, "Hey, I feel like a cat today," what?
Yeah.
I know what you're gonna say because you don't want no argument. You're gonna be like, "Hey, if that's the way they feel, they're free to do that." We're not talking about that.
Yeah.
Anybody could feel however the hell they want. Yeah. If I want to feel like Captain America today, yeah, baby. Yeah. I'll be Captain America. That doesn't mean that I'm a superhero. You know what I mean?
It doesn't mean it's real.
Common sense and logic, man.
What is real? If a person is identifying as a cat, that's not real. They're not really a cat. You can see it there. But you respect it. You let them think what they want, But,
yeah.
But like I said, with transgender, I don't know if the word respect is. I respect their decision to be that, because everybody has the freedom to be whatever they want, as long as it doesn't infringe on other people's lives or whatever. Which is one thing that we're going to talk about, because now as a transgender, it is infringing on other people's lives because they want to get into sports. If
they have been.
Yeah. They. So that's the whole thing, sports or the restrooms, the all gender restrooms and all that stuff.
Well, yeah, here's the thing, man. Like, you have to be okay with whatever people want to be. I
Yeah,
guess.
of course. You got to respect that. You got
right or wrong. I don't have.
That's their life.
I'll speak for myself. I don't have to respect whatever you want to be, but as long as you don't push it on me, and you don't push it, especially on kids. You know what I mean?
That's the problem. They are pushing it, man.
That's like again. That's like me saying I want to be a dope dealer. You know, and then I'll go and push drugs on your family and your little kids.
Yeah.
Would that be right? No. So common sense and logic. You can be whatever you want because you're your own persona, right? But you can't push it on other people.
Yeah, you can't.
And you guys are doing that. You know, they got into sports. Now they're competing with born males, saying that they feel like a female, are competing with born females.
Yeah, that's a no for sure. If I had,
how do you figure?
If I
man?
had a daughter or daughters, I wouldn't want those those people claiming to be female, that were born males claiming to be females, playing with my daughters in the same sport. That's just dangerous.
It just doesn't balance out, man. You know, like you're a guy, you're claiming to be a girl, you're gonna be stronger.
Yeah.
In almost every aspect.
Yeah.
So you're gonna beat them, and some people are okay with that.
That's just insane to me. How some people are okay with that. That's dangerous, just to the female itself, especially if it's contact sports. You know.
Yeah, I mean, how does that make any sense? You can't. It doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, there's no common sense in that for sure.
But you know, this is how they get their way because they push it and push it and push it on people, right? To where even these people that on the top level of the sports are allowing this crap.
Yeah, so, it's just they shove it down your throat. They just shove it down your throats and try to, like you said, they push it and they force it on you. You know, it's no good, no bueno, man.
No, and then that's where you're crossing the line because you want everybody to not only respect what you want to be, but you want everybody to be acceptable to that, which it shouldn't be because, again, look, I'm a Christian guy. I said it before. If I push that on people, guess what? I get rejected.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear it. I get pushback. You know what I mean? And that's just something about, God, our creator. Not that I'm pushing something else on, like a person or I don't know. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to be pushing people to believe and accept whatever it is that you want to be.
Right. Yeah, be whatever you want to be. That's fine, but don't push it on other people. Don't push that belief on other people.
And going back when I was in school, I think it was junior high and high school. There were some kids, you know what I mean, transgender kids.
Okay.
But I kid you not, I'm not mocking those people. They would act like girls, but the moment they got pissed off, dude, they became the male that they were born. And they could kick your ass, dude. I mean, the whole voice and the whole macho thing came out. How do you explain that? If you're saying that you're a girl and now you're 100% girl, then why does that happen?
Yeah.
Why is it that you could flip it? Why is it that you could switch off and on? Yeah. If you're born that way, then it shouldn't be, right?
Right.
You shouldn't be able to switch that off and on if it wasn't a feeling. Yeah. But it is. That's why you're able to do that.
Growing up, I didn't even know what transgender was till a few years ago.
Well, I didn't either.
Growing up, we didn't use that word.
It was gay, gay, homosexual, sissy, whatever.
Which is not politically correct now, is what they say. But
yeah, because they cried enough to you can't use those terms anymore.
Right, exactly. But yeah, back it was queers, gay people, and homos. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but remembering back to those days, the funny thing is that, and I'm pretty sure nowadays I've seen videos too where there's guys acting like girls, but once they get pissed off, they'll switch back to a man.
They're a tough guy.
And, they're a tough guy, and they're trying to beat up on whoever is talking smack to them.
Yeah.
How is that possible if it's not just a feeling? You can't explain that because it doesn't make any common sense and logic.
Their true self came out, right?
Yeah, and the same goes with girls too. You know what I mean? But we're sticking to the male because we're guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's girls that they're born females and now they're saying that they're guys and they act like guys, they dress like guys. Come on, man! Like,
the funny thing is when they start doing the whole injecting stuff before they could become that That
But that's another
transformation,
side.
That transformation. Yeah.
If you're born that
Why do you
way,
need that? Yeah.
then why do you need all those
Why do you need-
artificials? You know,
To become like start growing facial hair.
because that's what they do to you guys. The transgenders, you get shots, you get pills, and those are the things that are making you act and feel like what you want to feel. It's almost
Yeah.
like taking a drug, right?
Yeah.
I've never taken any drugs, although I did know a lot of people that did in the past. And believe me, these people were not the people. They were way different when they were drugged up.
Oh yeah.
And you see it right now on television. You know, when you see these guys like the cops are going after them, right? And they try to arrest them. Sometimes they got like 4 cops on top of them,
Yeah.
and they still can't get them down. They still can't tie them up. They still can't put on the handcuffs. What do you think that is?
Drugs, man.
It's the drugs. It's empowering somehow. It makes them someone that they're not.
Yeah.
And transgender people, the pills and the injections, that's what it's doing to you.
Yeah, as a female, if you're getting injected with testosterone to grow facial hair or whatever,
It's gonna happen.
it's gonna give you different feelings, of course.
Yeah.
It's gonna steer you in that direction to where you're feeling like a man.
And again, did you hear that? It's gonna give you the feeling,
yeah.
not that you are. Just like drugs, it gives you this feeling. I've heard people
Prior
like,
to drugs, you weren't that person. When you get drugs, then you become.
and look, I used to drink, so I kind of do know what I'm talking
Same with
about.
alcohol, right? Yeah.
Same with alcohol. I used to drink hard
Liquid
liquor.
courage.
Yeah, I used to drink liquor. When I had that in my system, I was not the same person. You either become violent or quiet. You become almost a quiet opposite of what you are.
Yeah.
But that's just the feeling. The next morning, guess what? You're back to normal. You're back to yourself. And transgender people, that's how they are, man.
Yeah. Yeah. That's our opinion.
That's your DNA. Your DNA says you're a male or female.
Yeah.
You could do whatever the hell you want, but you're not that. You want to try to be that, go ahead. But don't try to push that. Or I mean, you already did, but this is why we're fighting against it too. Because
we don't want you in sports where you're competing against other females if you're trying to be a male becoming a female. I don't want that. I don't agree with that, and I don't agree with the restroom either, where you were a man and you want to become a female and you want to go into the female restroom. That's just a no to me. That's just common sense. But that's my opinion. I would have to say no to those two things.
Yeah,
the
definitely.
Restrooms and sports. I'm sure there's other things they want to get into.
And you see how it all becomes political because, everybody wants to push their...
Yeah, because then you have to vote yes or no if you're going to allow it as a law.
Well, because it gets to the very top to where, they want to force it on everybody.
Yeah.
And we told you already, even if we're not okay, we have to be because that's you. That's who you want to be.
Yeah, we're okay with that. Don't get me wrong. I'm okay with you being transgender. Whoever's out there transgender, you want to be that, you want to live that lifestyle, it's fine. Just don't push it on. And I don't want to see you in sports with the opposite. What do you call it? The opposite sex of what you were born. And I don't want to see you in the restrooms either.
It's almost like I said earlier. If you want to be a dog, a cat, so be it. Yeah. Be that. But if I see you and you're acting like a dog and I throw you a bone, you better eat that bone.
You give that dog a bone.
Give that dog a bone. You better eat it and act like a dog. But in all seriousness, that's why it doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? Like, just the way you question it, you look at it, it doesn't fit. And literally, if you get 2 guys, it doesn't fit.
Right.
Even if you act like a female, it doesn't fit.
They have to have surgery for it to fit.
Yeah, and even then, you're gonna get a surgery done, and you have to go through all this to
transform. I mean,
transform
what you weren't.
Right. I mean, again, how does that make any sense? If you're doing all these things, getting, vaccines, pills, operations, how does that... Steroids. How does all that make sense when you're claiming to be someone that...
Born that way.
We
claim you were born that way, but yet again, you're transforming yourself to something else.
You're only altering yourself. That's what you're doing. Yeah. You could alter anything, but that doesn't mean that you're going to become something else just because you did it.
Right.
I mean, these transgender guys, even in relationships, I heard when they have the full operation and all that, they look like girls, and then they get into a relationship with guys, and a lot of them don't disclose that
They don't reveal
they
what they
don't
were, right?
that they were before.
Sounds like the crying game.
Yeah, Maury Povich.
There you go.
You know,
Maury Povich
yeah.
episode here.
So then they get into a relationship, and then months or years later they disclose that because they fall in love.
Or they can't have babies, or they can't get babies.
It's gonna come out somehow.
Yeah.
So just be honest. But yeah, I mean, the transgender thing, man, don't push it. You already did, and you're gonna cry because we're fighting not to allow you into the sports and compete with girls and vice versa. The girls that think they're guys, you guys are gonna end up getting hurt, and then what? You're gonna file a lawsuit because you got hit too hard or something.
Yeah.
Just keep it separate, man. That's all.
I agree. Just to clarify, make it clear. I'm okay with, if you want to be transgender, I'm okay with that. Just don't push it. Don't like I said, I'm not okay with the sports thing or the restroom thing.
From a moral point of view, it's not right. It's not correct. It doesn't fit. Again, you're gonna be whoever the hell you want to be. There's no fighting that.
So if it doesn't fit, it's not legit.
Yeah, there you go. But for the kids' sake, the parents out there, hopefully some, you guys will watch this. Pay attention when your kids are playing.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with correcting them and saying, hey, don't play with the dog. If you have a little boy, don't wear that dress. Don't put on the mommy's dress. Don't put on mommy's heels.
Yeah. You got to teach them what's right and wrong as far as what we know, what's right and wrong. I know a lot of people nowadays, they want to be hands off because that's supposedly what you have to do nowadays. Yeah. But man,
And if you take your kid to the doctor, I'm almost 100% sure that they're going to ask you questions as to why you want to have a test, because I don't even know how that goes down. But they're going to ask you, and then they could basically go in there, and because that's what they want to do, right? They're going to come back and say, yeah, your little boy's a girl.
Right.
But how do you know that? How do you dispute that? For me, it's just take his pants off and see the little peepee. That should tell you everything. And then let him grow up, and then at 20, 30, whatever, he decides to be a girl, then hey,
at least you did your part.
Then at least you're letting him or her choose. You're not helping, you're not encouraging them. Let them grow up to what they were born, and then later on, if they want to think that there's something else, then I guess at that point, let it play out. Let it be.
They're adults by then. So.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, they're not adults for a reason. That's where you come in and you have to teach your kids right and wrong and show them what they should be doing and what they shouldn't be doing. Discipline your kids. It's not bad to discipline your kids, man.
Rather than looking at like status of transgenders, how they become and why and all that, why don't you do some research on how much damage it causes these people when they do that, especially babies, that you practically force them to be something that they weren't born, and then later on they realize upon themselves that they're starting questioning, like, why am I dressing like a girl when I'm a boy?
Right.
And they have a lot of mental problems. You guys should do some research on that, and base it on that. See if you're okay with them going through those problems later on in life.
Yeah, because they might feel some way as a kid, and then later on they're going to change your mind. Because if you encourage them as a kid to, if you're a boy, to be a girl, and then later on they like you said, they realize they're a male. They're too far gone by then.
I mean, there's a lot of examples I could throw out there, but everybody knows who Will Smith is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they had I think a couple of boys. Well, one of them, they somehow encouraged him to be a girl, right? And he's a boy, but he became a girl. He's having a lot of issues now.
Yeah.
Do some research on that as to why do they have those mental problems afterwards. And if you don't mind having your kid growing up that way, then I guess you're gonna do what you're gonna do, but it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it just causes confusion, and they'll be messed up for for the rest of their lives, I think. But yeah, man, what do you guys think out there? What do you guys think about this transgender stuff? Give us your feedback, your comments. We want to hear.
Yeah, and again, don't come out saying that the doctors say, because then how am I going to dispute that? I can't. Same way, with COVID and being on the moon and
Yeah,
just common sense logic. If you can make it fit, then no homo jokes or anything. But if you could bring it together with common sense and logic, then I'll believe it. But you're not going to be able to. But you're more than welcome. Try.
yeah. Let us know for sure.
All right. Well, that's it for today, folks.
Checking out on Caesar, Common Sense and Logic. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you for tuning in, and give us a like and subscribe if you like this. And please leave your comments, whatever they are, positive, negative, drop them.
Yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one.
All right. Thank you so much.